Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a woman is speaking out after her daughter's death after a moped crash earlier this week. And a volunteer fire department had to rethink department policies after more than $70,000 was stolen.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're coming up on 5:30 this Thursday morning. And you know, I was just thinking about it, Tim, when you almost called it Tuesday, sometimes when you wake up and you think it's like a Tuesday or a Monday and then it's Thursday, that just overwhelming sense of euphoria you get. I think that's how I'm feeling about the weather. So let's send it over to you for a look at your forecast.
No, it's Tuesday. It's been a long week, right? And yes, euphoria. You'll have a sense of euphoria at 46, stepping out the door going, whoo, it's kind of cool outside. 20 degrees below about where we should be for this time of the year. Shock to the system for the latter third of August. Visibility-wise, as Madison would like to say, our friend the fog is back in a number of locations, and especially outside our door here in Hazard, where we're again at 46. It's also 46. Good morning to you. At Irvin, it is 51 at Ashland, 50 at Jonesville, and 50 at Williamsburg. Satellite radar composite, not much to really show you here over the last 12 hours. High pressure is right on top of us, and that means after we get the fog out of here by about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, it's nothing but a lot of sunshine today. We're on our way up to 78 for an afternoon high. The weekend is coming up. The weekend is going to be feeling a little bit warmer. Details coming up in this half hour. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Officials say Interstate 75 was closed due to a crash at the 32-mile marker on the southbound side. 2 tractor trailers were involved and debris was scattered across the roadways. No one was injured in the crash. It opened not long ago around 5:20 this morning. 2 people are in jail now and accused in the death of a 10-year-old in a moped crash on Interstate 75 in southern Kentucky. Police say a Corbin man was drunk when he rode on the interstate with his girlfriend's daughter with him. An SUV crashed into the moped, killing the 10-year-old. The girl's mother is facing a complicity to commit murder charge, and as WYMT's Phil Pendleton tells us, she's claiming her innocence from jail.
I didn't see him.
Denisha Martin is dealing with her 10-year-old daughter's death. All the while, police say she was complicit in her murder.
It's hard because I'm just thinking, hey, it's the summertime. There's kids that's younger than her on mopeds. I'm not thinking, oh, this is dangerous, something's going to happen.
But on Sunday, August 4th, police say her boyfriend, Darius Wade, was drunk when the moped he and Martin's daughter were on crashed while they were on Interstate 75. In court papers, police say Martin claims she knew of Wade's drinking problem. She tells us she felt like it was safe for her daughter to go with him.
I'm just thinking she's going to have fun, she trusts him, and she's been through a lot in her 10 years. And it took her a while to start trusting men again.
Police say Martin knew of Wade drinking 3 beers before an event on the 4th, and 3 more during that event. Police say they and fire personnel could smell alcohol on him while working the crash scene.
When me and my kids got home that night, he was not drunk, he was not acting drunk. I spent time with him, so I know the difference between when he is drunk and when he's sober. And when he left that house, he was not drunk.
Wade was treated for injuries he received in the crash, then was arrested and charged with DUI and murder. Martin says her daughter had a close relationship with him.
And he was one person that she trusted.
10-year-old was going to be a 5th grader this year at Hunter Hills Elementary School in Corbin. In Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Darius Wade said he did not want to talk to us from jail. A Laurel County man is facing charges after he reportedly punched a woman in her eye and assaulted her. Sheriff's deputies responded to a domestic violence complaint on Sunday at a home approximately 1 mile away from London. Deputies noted that the woman had a visible eye injury. Police later found Johnny Dale Markham hiding in bushes around a fence line. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Kentucky State Police troopers are looking for a man who escaped from the Rockcastle County Detention Center. Here is a picture of 41-year-old Justin Witt. He is described as being 6'2" tall with brown eyes and hair. If you have any information, you should call KSP Post 11 at 606-878-6622. When a former firefighter was caught up in a fraud scheme, officials in Pike County had to adjust some of the guidelines for funding. WYMT's Buddy Forbes shares the impact of the indiscretions.
Pike County officials say a former fire chief from Blackberry has left a stain on the volunteer service.
It's despicable because in many of our communities, most of our communities, the fire departments are the people we turn to.
Christopher Chapman was indicted by a grand jury in April and pled guilty to theft charges last week after court records say he funneled more than $76,000 from the Blackberry Fire Department.
We were really shocked that this happened, but we wanted to make sure that we were taking steps to make sure that if anything comes up again, that we're going to be able to withhold funds.
The funds were part of 2 grants from the county meant to purchase new turnout gear and equipment and fund repairs on the building. But Chapman admitted to encouraging the department to purchase the items through his company and then use the money for his personal purchases.
We were really taken aback by the fact that that this individual was not removed as fire chief immediately. So hopefully this will send a message that if you're not taking care of your business, don't expect to get county funding.
So the county acted early on. Judge Executive Ray Jones says as soon as the information came to light through a Fire Service Commission audit, they drafted and passed a new ordinance to better control the money that goes to the departments.
But we have a responsibility to make sure that the people who are receiving that public funding are spending it properly.
And though he has yet to hear any updates from the department since the guilty plea,
I have not been contacted, but they're not going to get any county money, unfortunately, until we see that there's some changes have been made in the management of the department.
Jones says he is hopeful that this is the last time they have to deal with the pure disregard and disrespect of the service and needs of the volunteer departments. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
As part of his plea, Chapman was ordered to return all of his equipment to the fire department and pay restitutions for the crime. Camp Lejeune is a military base in Jacksonville, North Carolina, where many veterans and their families were exposed to toxic water. In 2022, the promise to address comprehensive toxics, or PACT Act, passed. One section was the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, which gives veterans who served on the base in the 34-year period from 1953 to 1987 a federal solution. Survivors like Knott County native Brian Ambergy are working toward an amendment.
Since this has been going on, they said we as Marines and Navy personnel should have been more diligent about what we drank on base. And you out in the field, you ain't got nothing else to drink but the water.
Ambergy says the water used for bathing on the base is also known to have been toxic during the time period noted. FEMA says it will not restore all disaster-related property losses, but will cover basic needs following storms that happened in May. They say they will cover things such as appliances, clothing, and home furnishings. To be eligible for the items, they must have been owned before the severe weather, which happened between May 21st and 27th. The item also had to be owned and in use by occupants of the household. More than $3 million is being awarded to the Kentucky Housing Corporation. There were some community action agencies in our area that were sub-grantees. These include the Bell Whitley Community Action Agency and the LKLP Community Action Council. The grant will be used to weatherize low-income homes as part of the Kentucky Sustainable Energy Resources for Consumers Project 2024. As we mentioned earlier this week, Knott County School Superintendent Brent Hoover has announced he is retiring from his position later this year. Hoover has been with the district for nearly 30 years. He says the decision to step down was a deeply personal and emotional one. He sent a statement to WYMT about his decision to retire. Here is part of that statement, quote, "I want to express my deepest gratitude to the entire Knott County Schools community, our students, parents, teachers, staff, and community members. Your support, collaboration, and dedication have made my years here truly fulfilling. I am confident that the future holds great things for our district, and I look forward to seeing all the wonderful accomplishments that lie ahead." His retirement is effective on October 1st. Kentucky's education commissioner is laying out his goals as he starts his first school year in charge of the Board of Education. Dr. Robbie Fletcher says his office will look into potential changes to how the state uses money to fund schools. He wants to see a better balance between property poor and property rich districts. Dr. Fletcher became education commissioner in July after spending a decade as superintendent of Lawrence County Schools. Kentucky is one step closer to having another cut on state income taxes. The current individual income tax rate is 4% in Kentucky, but in a post on social media made yesterday afternoon, Kentucky Senate Republican Chris McDaniel said the state's budget has met the necessary requirements for an income tax cut down to 3.5%. If approved by the General Assembly, the new rate of 3.5% would go into effect for tax year 2025. Still to come, Ohio Valley Wrestling is making its way to Eastern Kentucky with a special pay-to-view event.
A little fog and a chill again this morning, but signs of a warm-up just in time for the weekend. All the details with your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast as your WYMT Mountain Morning News continues.